I begin a new career.
These observations led me into a new career. Some 15 years ago, I became convinced that some of the people who consult a plastic surgeon need more surgery, and that some of them do not need surgery at all. If I were to treat these people as patients, as a whole person rather than merely a nose, ear, mouth, arm, or leg, I needed to be in a position to give them something more. I needed to be able to show them how to obtain a spiritual facelift, how to remove emotional scars, how to change their attitudes and thoughts, as well as their physical appearance. This study has been most rewarding. Today, I am more convinced than ever that what each of us really wants, deep down, is more life. Happiness, success, peace of mind, or whatever your own conception of supreme good may be, is experienced in its essence as more life. When we experience expansive emotions of happiness, self-confidence, and success, we enjoy more life. And, to the degree that we inhibit our abilities, frustrate our God-given talents, and allow ourselves to suffer anxiety, fear, self-condemnation, and self-hate, we literally choke off the life force available to us and turn our back upon the gift which our Creator has made. To the degree that we deny the gift of life, we embrace death.
Your program for better living.
In my opinion, psychology during the past 30 years has become far too pessimistic regarding man and his potentiality for both change and greatness. Since psychologists and psychiatrists deal with so-called abnormal people, the literature is almost exclusively taken up with man's various abnormalities, his tendencies toward self-destruction. Many people, I'm afraid, have read so much of this type of thing that they have come to regard such things as hatred, the destructive instinct, guilt, self-condemnation, and all other negatives as normal human behavior. The average person feels awfully weak and impotent when he thinks of the prospect of pitting his puny will against these negative forces in human nature in order to gain health and happiness. If this were a true picture of human nature and the human condition, self-improvement would indeed be a rather futile thing. However, I believe, and the experiences of my many patients have confirmed the fact, that you do not have to do the job alone. There is, within each one of us, a life instinct which is forever working toward health, happiness, and all that makes for more life for the individual. This life instinct works for you through what I call the creative mechanism, or, when used correctly, the success mechanism built into each human being.
New scientific insights into subconscious mind.
The new science of cybernetics has furnished us with convincing proof that the so-called subconscious mind is not a mind at all, but a mechanism, a goal-striving servo mechanism consisting of the brain and nervous system which is used by and directed by mind. The latest and most usable concept is that man does not have two minds, but a mind or consciousness which operates an automatic goal-striving machine. This automatic goal-striving machine functions very similar to the way that electronic servo mechanisms function, as far as basic principles are concerned, but it is much more marvelous, much more complex than any electronic brain or guided missile ever conceived by man. This creative mechanism within you is impersonal. It will work automatically and impersonally to achieve goals of success and happiness, or unhappiness and failure, depending upon the goals which you yourself set for it. Present it with success goals, and it functions as a success mechanism. Present it with negative goals, and it operates just as impersonally and just as faithfully as a failure mechanism. Like any other servo mechanism, it must have a clear-cut goal, objective, or problem to work upon. The goals that our own creative mechanism seeks to achieve are mental images or mental pictures which we create by the use of imagination. The key goal image is our self-image. Our self-image prescribes the limits for the accomplishment of any particular goals. It prescribes the area of the possible. Like any other servo mechanism, our creative mechanism works upon information and data which we feed into it, our thoughts, beliefs, and interpretations. Through our attitudes and interpretations of situations, we describe the problem to be worked upon. If we feed information and data into our creative mechanism to the effect that we ourselves are unworthy, inferior, undeserving, incapable, in other words, a negative self-image, this data is processed and acted upon as any other data in giving us the quote-unquote answer in the form of objective experience. Like any other servo mechanism, our creative mechanism makes use of stored information, or memory, in solving current problems and responding to current situations. Your program for getting more living out of life consists in, first of all, learning something about this creative mechanism, or automatic guidance system within you, and how to use it as a success mechanism rather than as a failure mechanism. The method itself consists in learning, practicing, and experiencing new habits of thinking, imagining, remembering, and acting in order to 1. Develop an adequate and realistic self-image, and 2. To use your creative mechanism to bring success and happiness in achieving particular goals. So, if you can remember, worry, or tie your shoe, you can succeed. As you will see later, the method to be used consists of creative mental picturing, creatively experiencing through your imagination, and the formation of new automatic reaction patterns by acting out and acting as if. I often tell my patients that if you can remember, worry, or tie your shoe, you will have no trouble applying this method. The things you are called upon to do are simple, but you must practice and experience. Visualizing, creative mental picturing is no more difficult than what you do when you remember some scene out of the past, or when you worry about the future. And acting out new action patterns is no more difficult than deciding, then following through on tying your shoes in a new and different manner each morning, instead of continuing to tie them in the old habitual way, without thought or decision.